wiser feller than myself once said, sometimes you eat the turd sandwich, sometimes the turd sandwich, well, it eats you.
All right, and we can start.
Thank you, Sam Elliott, for those rousing, inspirational words.
Like, literally, my day has been the dumbest day off ever. Like, this morning, I went to the grocery store to get groceries, but I also got a flash drive so that I could just save our recordings onto the flash drive, and I could delete it from StreamYard to free up space on StreamYard.
Yeah.
So then I got back, did a podcast with Austin from American Demon Comics, and then the space between that and now, I was making that stupid Sam Elliott thing. And ultimately, that space between, I told myself I'm going to write, because I wrote like 10 pages of a comic script last night, and I was like, ooh, I'll write a shorter one. There's one I need to finish that's only a 2-page one. I'll do that during that time. Nope. Brandon was laying on the couch right after the podcast and was doing random dumb Sam Elliott stuff, and it wound up me saying turd sandwich as Sam Elliott. And then I remembered a kind of a conversation / speech that Sam Elliott has in The Big Lebowski with the dude. So I was like, I will just draw that scene where he's like looking over at the dude and he's holding a turd sandwich. It's the same exact line from the movie. I just switched out bear with turd sandwich.
Oh,
and it turned out very well.
I've still never seen The Big Lebowski.
Oh, it's a great movie. It's not amazing. I think it's a little bit overrated, but it's good.
Yeah, as far as the last movie I watched. So I had never seen any of the Harold and Kumar movies, but my sister loves them.
Oh, yeah.
But we found out that only the second one was available on Max or something, or
really
Amazon or whichever one it was. So we watched the second one, Harold and Kumar Escape Guantanamo Bay. And it was all right. She tells me the first one's better.
Oh, crap. I was just thinking, is there 3 of them? Because for some reason I was thinking the second one was like a Christmas one. But I think there's a third one that's a Christmas one.
Yeah, she said that there is a third one, and she said it's not very good.
I was about to say, I completely forgot about Escape Guantanamo Bay. I thought it was the Christmas one. I was like, I remember nothing about the Christmas one.
Yeah, so I've never seen Go to White Castle, and I've never seen whichever one the Christmas one is, but I have seen Escape Guantanamo Bay.
I don't remember much of that one either.
It's interesting. You know, it's disgusting. It is a disgusting movie.
Yeah.
I assume all of them are like that, though.
The White Castle one definitely is. There's parts that, like, and it might be a nostalgia type thing, because I was like late elementary, middle school when that came out, or was big at least.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember a decent bit of that. It's not nowhere in like my top, not even like top 50 comedies.
Yeah.
But I remember enjoying it.
Yeah, there's I could tell that once the movie really got going, my sister actually started to feel embarrassed that she was showing it to me, even though the general sense of humor is right up my alley.
Yeah.
Because you and I make jokes not too dissimilar from what is in those movies.
Yeah.
When we record. But yeah, I could tell she was getting a little bit embarrassed. Like when it got to the part when they went to the bottomless mansion.
I don't remember that.
The bit where they go to like their friend's mansion or whatever, and it's full of chicks wearing shirts but no pants.
Okay, yeah.
And she's like, I forgot about this part. I wanted to tell her, trust me, I don't mind, but I wanted to be like, my opinion of this movie just shot through the roof for this scene. But But I can't say that to my sister.
Yeah, you can't say that to your sister. That makes sense.
I couldn't get on my hands and knees and take her by the hand and thank her for showing me this.
Yeah, and if it was
don't make that into the
I'm not. Clip. I thought about it for a brief second.
The social media clip.
No, I thought about it for a brief second, and I was like, no, I don't think he'd want me to do that. Right before you said that. But I forgot what I was about to say. But yeah, like that makes sense. And if it was a YouTube video, YouTube has this feature now where, at least on TV, it might be on the app, where if you are fast forwarding or rewinding, you can see the most replayed part of the video. That would probably be the most replayed part of that movie.
Probably. I'd wear that part of the disc out if I had it on Blu-ray. Pausing, rewinding, hitting it frame by frame.
Yeah.
Right up until the point where the dude who runs the mansion stands up out of that hot tub.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
Okay, it might jog your memory to say this. Kumar says that it looks like Osama bin Laden's beard.
Yeah, I think I kind of remember.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Harold and Kumar movies, like, they're not awful comedies, but I think it's ones that have, like, not swept under the rug. That's not a good way. It's just like somewhat disappeared, kind of. Like, I forgot they existed till you had mentioned it. Basically, it's that sort of thing.
Yeah. They're stoner comedies, and they definitely aged.
Yeah.
Like, people say things like, "Oh, you couldn't make a movie like that now." About a lot of things, you genuinely couldn't make a movie like Harold and Kumar now. Like, there's so much in those movies that doesn't hold up, like, socially.
Yeah.
Like, just the rampant casual homophobia in those movies is just astounding.
Yeah. Now thinking about it, I think probably at least 50% of stoner comedies might fall into that. Maybe not holding up so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't a stoner comedy entirely. But recently rewatched 21 and 22 Jump Street with my sister.
Oh my gosh, I love that movie.
I've seen 21 Jump Street like a few times. I think I've only seen 22 Jump Street like once. So when we watched it, I didn't remember hardly any of it.
Yeah.
And 21 is, I think 21 is definitely better than 22, but 22 is still good. My favorite part is honestly the end credits where it's the sequels of the movies. I love that so much. All the sequels. Yeah.
And I love it because you got to respect a franchise's willingness to kill its own sequel potential for the sake of the show.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's definitely what they were doing. There haven't been any since. So they were definitely like, yeah, we're not making any more of these. So let's make a joke out of that. About it being like this unending, undying zombie franchise.
And then at least for like the first 30 minutes of the movie, there's like meta dialogue here and there that's talking about like, this is a sequel and like this feels very similar to the first one, or it's talking about like, hey, we don't want to tick anyone off. Let's stick to what was good, which was the first one, sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's been a long time since I've seen either of those movies, but yeah, I love them both. They're both really funny. Oh
yeah. All right, I'll let you get that. There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, 21 and 22 Jump Street, solid. 21 definitely feels more like a classic. Yeah. And I was about to say, it seems weird to call it that. It's getting there. It's like 11, 12 years old now.
Yeah, we're a good ways away from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember what I was going to say, though. I remember 22 Jump Street being better than it had any right to be, being the sequel to the kind of movie it was a sequel to.
Oh yeah, yeah. And they even like, I think something that helps with that is not saying a comedy has to be meta if it's a sequel, but it has meta elements here and there that kind of touch on that I think help me at least in terms of being like, this still, that holds up on its own.
Yeah.
Like it's not a bad movie. It's pretty good. But yeah, I was actually talking with Austin earlier today, and one of the things I talked about was like comedy movies, especially comics, but comedies have just kind of like died off and went away. I mean, you get some here and there, but most of the time, any type of comedy is like, it's not the first genre listing. It's usually like action and then comedy. Example, not saying they're labeled as comedies, but MCU movies.
Yeah.
Like that's, in terms of mainstream stuff, the biggest you get in terms of comedies, but it's just like comedic things sprinkled throughout a movie. It's not a comedy.
Well, yeah, I think we've talked about this before, where these days you kind of got to get your comedy in other things. Because the thing is, when something is specifically a comedy these days, it's going straight to streaming now.
Yeah. And it gets buried, at least for me, because unless I've heard of the filmmaker or something, it just doesn't pop on my radar.
Yeah.
And if it's an Adam Sandler movie, I'm almost definitely not seeing it.
Yeah.
There's been some decent ones that have come out the past 5 to 10 years from him, but most of them, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like Hubie. It's like Hubie or Hubie Halloween. I kind of like that. Like it was kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. Most of them, the whole take my friends on vacation and we'll make a movie while doing it.
Yeah.
Just And yeah, like comics, you have to go to like, you got to dig into indie comics to find comedy stuff.
Oh, dude, guess what I found out, by the way, last time I was at a comic book store?
What's up?
I had to find out by seeing the trade volume, because I didn't see any advertisements for it anywhere. I Hate Fairyland is back.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was
Scotty
back.
Young.
I had to see like volume 5 on a shelf in the comic book store to find out. I didn't know that it was back.
Yeah, I follow Scotty Young as well as like his graphic design company on Instagram. And I saw like
social media, so
I saw images here and there like before issue 21, or I don't even remember if they renamed the title and just gave it issue 1. I can't remember.
I think they picked it up from the old numbering.
Okay, so
because the thing is, the volume is volume 5.
Yeah. But I remember seeing like some of that art and like cover stuff like a few weeks or a month before it came out. I was like, oh crap! Like I still got to get the. I like those deluxe hardcovers that they have of the old ones. I have the pink one. Eventually, I'll get book 2, that green one. But I'll read that, then I'll pick up the new stuff. But I haven't read comics like any Marvel, DC, Boom, Image, etc. I haven't read any of those in like months, just because like busyness with my comic stuff, with writing, life stuff, as well as like whenever I do read a comic, it's usually like a Kickstarter comic or something. I just, and not saying like I don't have time to read. I could make the time, but in terms of that leisure thing of reading, playing a video game, this, that, I pretty much delegate that to like movies now. Like I'll watch a movie. But
Yeah, I remember last week I said I was going to I think I said I was going to start trying to catch up on Marvel stuff again because I've basically been on a break from Marvel since Guardians 3.
Yeah.
But now I'm ready to try and get back into it because I think I had to readjust the way I was going into it. But anyway, I've said all this to say that I haven't done any of that yet. Like I haven't in the week since we last talked, I haven't done anything I said I was going to do.
Nice.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. Like nothing actually like happened, but like for some reason mentally, I just had kind of a rough weekend.
Yeah.
But I'm coming out of it. I had a good long encouraging conversation with my mother yesterday, so
that's good.
Yeah, it felt a lot like the Endgame scene where Thor talks to his mom one last time. No, you know what I mean. And that's why I say that scene's not bad. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Thor just needed a pep talk from his mom." That scene's not bad. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you're the God of Thunder. Sometimes you just need to talk to your mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I like, especially the past 2 or 3 months, there's been at least a couple times, if not a few times, where I just like needed to get something off my chest or just talk about it. And then boom, like did it with my mom or my dad or like limited my sister. There's only so much, like it's your little sister. You don't want to burden them with everything. But yeah, I mean, it helps a ton. Like that, the parental figure that can at least listen, maybe give advice, maybe not, but it's at least like I don't know. This sounds like such a stupid thing. Like, oh, like parents rock. It sounds like an obvious thing, but I know everyone is not as blessed.
Yeah. Obviously, this is for those who have good relationships with their parents.
Yeah.
But yeah, for anybody who needs it though, go to Tom Cardy's YouTube channel and watch his music video titled "Call Your Mother." It's just a song about him telling you to call your mother.
Nice.
That's just the whole song. That's it. Call your mother. It's been 3 long weeks now. Call your mother. Better pick up the phone and give your mother a call.
I think the last time I had something along that line was like it's a couple of weeks ago. I was getting home from a trip to Daytona Beach. There was like a youth minister conference there, and like I don't know, I got a lot out of it in terms of the main thing, adjusting what I want to do and not feel like I'm entirely in a rut with specific stuff. And like there was one night, it was like Saturday night there, just hit good. It hits good like those youth rallies. If anyone's out there, you've been to like a youth rally when you're a teenager or whatever, like it's I'm getting Christian-y here for those out there, but it's like the Holy Spirit like hits you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, like especially as a teenager, you can feel that a lot. But it was one of those things that like hit me that Saturday night. And pretty much as soon as I got out of the conference thing, I sent like a paragraph long text to my mom of just like, okay, I think I know what to do.
Yeah.
But it was, I don't know. Yeah, those feelings are great.
That's kind of similar to the conversation I had with my mom this week. Obviously, this is probably frustrating for the listeners. Oh, well, there's my
chicken. Pause. Intermission break. Yeah. You can hear more after the chicken tenders are out of the oven, people. Okay.
There we go. All right. So as I was saying before we paused, I know it's probably frustrating to listen to because we can't go into any like details. Because it's all personal. But yeah, call your mother.
Yeah. Moral of the story: call your mother.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, but another thing I was gonna say too is I think the reason that I've taken such a long break from Marvel, because this is the longest time I've gone without like digging into a Marvel thing in a while. But I think one of the reasons I was taking such a long break is because I needed to readjust.
Oh. Nice.
I needed to readjust. Like, I guess my reasons for going into it and like the way that I was approaching it as a piece of media.
Yeah.
For such a long time now, we've talked about this before about how we lived in an age where we got to see our subculture suddenly go mainstream.
Right.
And for me, Marvel became a thing where I could go and see it, and then I could talk to people about it. Like there was discourse about it that I could participate in. And it's like, finally, people that like there are a large number of people that I can talk to about this thing that I care about.
Right.
But now the discourse has turned like very negative. Which I'm not trying to say like that's inherently a bad thing for discourse to turn negative. If something's genuinely bad, then fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And over the past year, Marvel has actually, well, even more so than just the past year. Over the past couple of years, there have been a few things that Marvel has put out that I would say are genuinely. Let's see, bad is such. I don't want to say bad because there are things that are so much worse, right?
It's lower quality than it once.
Yeah, it's bad relative to the reputation that Marvel developed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, if it's worse than Marvel's best, then it's garbage for most people. Like if it's just so strange to me, like how that's everything suddenly turned like so viciously negative so quickly.
Yeah, at least what you see online is like most people, at least the past 2 years, have like what you see online, I should say.
Yeah.
It's nothing but negativity on Marvel, at least with the movies.
Yeah, and like definitely with the comic books. Are you kidding me? People have been going on about how the comic books have been dying for at least half a decade, even though if that were the case, then they would have stopped publishing them.
They've been doing that since Civil War II.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like some people have been doing that since Avengers versus X-Men. But
yeah, true.
So the thing is, like, it's difficult to participate in discourse with a group of people who have invested into their negative outlook on a thing. Like it's gotten to a point now where like Marvel being bad is emotionally important to some people, so they hold on to it. I don't understand that, but that's just kind of the way it feels. And a lot of people would argue that Marvel being good is emotionally important to me. And I would say, yes, that's true, but I think my option is healthier.
Yeah.
So we're just going to say I'm right. But
I'll at least say like the obvious thing, like scientifically, like positivity is definitely better than negativity. Now, doesn't mean you can't have negativity. That's where you can have debate and constructive criticism through. But yeah, I mean, like if seeing something positively does you a lot better than seeing it negatively. That doesn't mean like I love the Marvels or I love Ant-Man and the Wasp. I actually don't like Ant-Man and the Wasp or the Quantumania specifically.
Yeah.
But like I leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, I don't like it. I move on.
Yeah.
I don't make it my identity to just post about it and talk about it and everything. It's just like, no, that's a thing that came out. I mean, there's movies that came out last year that aren't MCU or DC or anything like that I did not like.
Yeah.
that some I may have even hated, but it's just like, yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what's the point of lingering on this thing you didn't like? It's because, and I know I've gone on like long rants and tangents about like things being bad before too, but like, hey, firstly, I'm doing that as a joke. Like, it doesn't genuinely make me angry to see a bad movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like I remember there was that one episode where I just went on like I think it was a 10 to 15 minute tirade during our recommendation section about I don't even know if it was during recommendations, but I just went on like a 10 to 15 minute tirade about how little sense the first Sword Art Online movie's plot made.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that like I did do that. But A, it's funny, and B, I like Sword Art Online, so like it's coming from a place of love, right?
Yeah,
And not
yeah.
just like directionless vitriol. That where like Sword Art Online just happened to be the first thing that fell in front of me when I got mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, I've had to readjust because Marvel, when I was a kid, it was this thing where it was just for me, and I had to keep it to myself because I'm the only one who got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it suddenly turned into this thing that everybody loves, and I could talk about it with anyone, and that made me happy. But now it's kind of gone back to being this thing where it's just for me again.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm okay with that, because I've reached a point where it's like I don't necessarily need to share everything I care about with everyone. It's okay for Marvel to be just for me again, because as long as I enjoy it, it doesn't really matter what other people think. And a lot of people, like a lot of fans, I included audible air quotes with that, will say that like people like me are the reason that the movies keep getting worse, because our satisfaction with mediocrity is making the companies more comfortable with substandard stuff. But in my opinion, they're not giving us substandard entertainment right now. Thor: Love and Thunder, I will say, not a great movie. Quantumania could have been better. That movie doesn't chafe me as bad as it does others, but I'll agree that Quantumania could have been better. I haven't seen Secret Invasion yet, but I have actually listened to a bunch of spoilers on it, and I gotta say, it doesn't sound like it's gonna be great. I'm still gonna watch it. It doesn't sound like it's gonna be super great. But yeah, so like I'm not denying that some of what Marvel has been putting out recently is substandard, but I'm not gonna jump on the Marvel is dead bandwagon just because like about 20% of their output has started to sour.
Yeah.
Like 80% is still a B, people. Come on. That's a passing grade. But yeah, so for me, I've learned to be okay with like if I'm the only person entertained by this, it doesn't really matter because at least I'm being entertained.
Yeah.
I don't need to talk to other people at length about this anymore.
Yeah, like that's the reason. I mean, most of the movies and stuff I see is because of that. It's like, ooh, like this sounds interesting to me. And sometimes it is like, oh, like no one's talking about this. But I think that plays into it of like, yeah, like sometimes I'm okay with like like specifically, let's say the indie A24 stuff I watch here and there.
Yeah.
Like not a lot of people are talking about it like they would a Star Wars movie or a Marvel movie, to where I don't really have to deal with much conversation with it, to where it's like, oh, like this actually is just like, this is for Brandon. This is for Brandon time. Now, I think A24 is rising up because they're starting to get IPs and stuff, not just original stuff. I think they're going to be rising up. It's going to be bigger in the next 5 years than it's ever been. And you're going to get a bunch of like an influx into it where it'll become more mainstream than it is now. But I'm okay with that. But yeah, again, like I if I don't like something, I don't like something, and I just like put it away. Example, not entirely saying I don't like it. I'm not saying I don't like it, but I'm pretty burnt out. I'm pretty much burnt out on Star Wars stuff. I haven't watched a Star Wars thing in forever.
Yeah,
So I just put it over there. So, okay, it's over there. There's compared to 40, 50 years ago, there's so many forms of entertainment. I can shelf one or put it away and move on to something else. Like that's what's so great about today. There's so much out there. There's something you're going to like if you don't like the thing over here.
Yeah, and I think that everyone is ready, including us. And this is kind of a revelation for me because I was really reveling in the whole golden age of superhero movies thing. Because you know, superheroes are the thing I like. You know what I mean? Like they're my favorite.
Yeah.
But especially with Marvel of all universes being the big one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like who would have thought 20 years ago Marvel was the more well regarded between it and DC.
Right.
At the movie theater. But anyway, so yeah, I was kind of like reveling in it. But now I think everyone, myself included, is ready for the movie landscape to level back out.
Yeah.
Because I believe it was Sunday. So yeah, over the weekend. On Sunday, my family watched Oppenheimer. I finally saw Oppenheimer, so I'm officially participating in Barbenheimer now, I guess. Just like
you did see Barbie?
I haven't seen Barbie yet. I'm going to though. I'm going to, I promise. But yeah, we watched Oppenheimer, and it's like I can understand why, you know, that movie is kind of being hailed as like it's like a return to form for the industry in a lot of ways. Like, movies are going back to the way they were, and for a movie that high profile to not be like a major blockbuster, like it was marketed like a blockbuster, but the thing is, like, functionally it wasn't. It's nothing like, you know, any of the major like big budget blockbusters that we typically see. But yes, it's just incredible to me that, like, you know, that happened in 2023, and I like I said, I think it's kind of a return to form for the movie industry, and I'm hoping to see movies trend back towards that, and in general, more towards independent productions, as we like, kind of like what we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Where I want to see more. I just want to see. I'm ready to see more from the movie industry now.
Oh yeah.
Because it really has been very much the same thing since 2012.
Yeah.
And it's
like
it's time to level back out and readjust.
Yeah. Like I like I like my superhero movies. I like my superhero shows, but I don't want, like, at least me personally, I don't want it to be the focal of going to the movie theaters. Like, because at least for the past almost decade, like, not that I'm not saying like it's wrong for Marvel movies or DC movies to be the things that's like raking in money every month from the movie theaters, but like it's the good ones are good, but that's maybe 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time, it's like average to below average. And my issue with that is there's so much of that. If there wasn't a lot of average ones, I wouldn't complain about it. But there's just so much of it.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you look at it, and not even just leaving it to superhero movies, but like between Marvel, like Disney proper, and like Pixar, like at any given point in the year, Disney is pushing everybody else out of the theater because like all of their movies get multiple screens per theater complex.
Oh yeah. You wanted to see this indie movie that like deserves and needs IMAX or the Dolby, the big Dolby one that's basically IMAX.
Yeah.
You want to see this indie movie that deserves that. Sorry, Wish is on it.
Yeah.
During the same time, so you're not going to be able to see it on IMAX. You got to see it digital. You got to see it at the most random time of the day.
Yeah. It's like a few years ago when I went to see Belle in the theater, which, and I get this in general because America doesn't treat foreign movies very well. But still, like, you know, I went to see Belle and I saw it on. It was in like one of the back corners of the AMC that I went to, on like a smaller screen, and it's like, seeing that movie, it was still a great experience in the theater, but at the same time, it's like this movie deserved, I think, a bigger screen.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not it deserves a bigger screen, you know, and whether or not it should get one are two different topics, because obviously, like, even the tiny auditorium that we were in the AMC, it was, you know, not even close to being filled up. So like, obviously they knew that it wasn't going to get a ton of ticket sales, but that's the thing. Like I said, America doesn't treat foreign movies very well.
And definitely when it comes to foreign animated movies.
Yes, exactly. Anime is getting very popular, but they only treat like the big shonen movies with any measure of like respect, because those are the ones that draw a crowd. So like, you're only going to see Dragon Ball, My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, and like things along those lines on the bigger screens because they draw bigger crowds.
Yeah, in live action, I'd say the same. The only time you'll see like multiple screenings and it be more than 2 weeks or a week or a weekend that it's there is when it's a big IP that is very familiar in the States, but they're doing it in other country. The biggest example recently was Godzilla -1, which was fantastic. Like, it was a great movie. But yeah, like the reason that did so good in the States is the past decade of, I mean, Godzilla's been a big thing, but the past decade with, I think, Lionsgate or whatever. Do what?
Because he's big.
Yeah. But like with the Lionsgate movies and stuff, like people, they have heard and want to go see Godzilla movies. And this one isn't that, but people hear the name Godzilla and it's like, okay, let's go watch that. As well as I think Godzilla -1 would have done bad if it wasn't good, because at least that first weekend, if not that first week, it didn't do amazing, but word of mouth is really what got it. Word of mouth spread that movie.
It picked up steam as it went.
Yeah, because I went to go see it I saw it that opening weekend because I thought, because I've seen it with a whole bunch of other foreign movies, I thought this is going to be in the theaters a week, maybe 2 weeks, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was in theaters for like over a month. So
yeah, I haven't had any extra cash to spend on movies recently, so I missed that one in the theater.
It's a solid watch. Whenever it might eventually come out on streaming or DVD, it's worth watching.
Yeah, I'm hoping it comes out on Max then at some point.
Yeah, it should.
Because isn't Warner Brothers, aren't they the ones with the deal with like Toho to?
Let me see. Maybe. Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, it was really good. Like my personal thing, I like it more than the Lionsgate movies that have been coming out.
Yeah.
But the Lionsgate movies aren't bad either. It's
Yeah,
just
listen,
this is the first time I actually cared about the humans and didn't want them to go away.
Yeah. That's because the Japanese actually understand the role that humans are supposed to play in a Godzilla story.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna focus on them, obviously.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, in the American Godzilla movies, like, so I've been seeing the discourse go around Godzilla circles a lot, where they're comparing the Japanese stuff to the recent American stuff, and the thing is, like, the consensus seems to be that they're just happy that there is a Godzilla for both, where you get your introspective, existential, thought-provoking Godzillas from Japan. The people who created the creature.
And you get your monster battles from America.
Yes, and you get your big fun monster battles that you don't have to think too hard about from America.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with having both of those.
No, not at all.
And so, like, the thing is, like, American studios, the American studio that's been making Godzilla movies, doesn't get where humans fit in a Godzilla story.
Yeah.
Quite yet. I'm hoping they figure it out. But the thing is, Godzilla and Kong seem to be permanently sharing top billing now. And Kong is the American kaiju. So, like, the American studios understand where humans fit in a Kong story. So, like, it makes it easier. I think that's why I feel like Godzilla versus Kong is the Godzilla movie from this group that has the best understanding of where people are supposed to be.
Yeah.
And the human presence in Godzilla versus Kong is the most tolerable out of the three movies Godzilla's appeared in. Well, no, that's not true. In 2014, that was pretty good, but they were treating Godzilla like Jaws in that one, so, like, you got that anticipation.
The 2014 one definitely is different, but I do like it. I somewhat like the Jaws approach just because it's different. I don't want to see that with every movie, and I'm glad they don't do that every movie. But it was unique to see at least. But yeah, like I basically just want Godzilla versus Kong if someone just made an edit and they erased all the human scenes. It's a waste of time to me, those human scenes.
I would love to see a version of that movie where all of the scenes involving the human characters are still there, but none of the humans are in it. So it's just a bunch of really long shots of empty rooms, and that are occasionally interrupted by Godzilla and Kong fighting each other.
At first, I thought you were going to say basically the ultimate hell of an edit where it's nothing but the human parts and all the Godzilla and Kong parts are edited out.
There you go. There's the other one. There's the other way around.
Yeah, like I like those movies, but yeah, like, and everyone said it. We've said it a million times. Those human parts are just a slog to get through.
Well, the thing is, like, because, okay, so for Godzilla versus Kong, another reason that I'm okay with a lot of the human parts is the reason that humans are in those movies is to explain things to the audience, right? Make sure we're on board and we get it. So in Godzilla versus Kong, some of the things that happened, I think, are a little more abstract and complicated without having someone there to explain what's happening. Though I think it would have been an interesting experiment in visual storytelling to try and communicate all those ideas anyway without people to explain it.
I was going to say, which you could, but audience,
absolutely could.
Audience too stupid.
Yeah, audience too stupid. The thing is, the reason that I'm okay with humans in Godzilla versus Kong, but not in King of the Monsters, is because what was happening in King of the Monsters was extremely simple and extremely easy to understand.
Yeah.
Like, all we needed was the visual storytelling. We did not need all those really cool, beautiful shots that were in that movie of the monsters and their environments to be cut away from, so that we could have the people who literally narrate. And the thing is, the humans in that movie are just spending literally the entire movie on a giant airship following the monsters around just to narrate what's happening.
Yeah, they're
like,
just
they don't interact with anything. The humans are just going from place to place to watch and tell us what's happening.
They're just fight commentators. They're Joe Rogan on the side of the UFC octagon ring. They're just commentating on the fight.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't need that. Like, we can see what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't need you to tell me that Ghidorah won. I think the bit where he stands on the mountain and shrieks into the sky while we have a cross at the top of a steeple in the foreground is indicator enough.
Yeah.
I think the fact that Ghidorah is the one who came out of the water after you bombed him and Godzilla both is indicator enough that he won that. Because there are parts of that movie where the people are necessary. Like, obviously the military freaking out and bombing both Godzilla and Ghidorah at the same time. That's like a part of the movie's plot. That's something that actually happens. So, like, leave the human element in there as far as that's concerned. And there's nothing wrong with having these scientists who study Godzilla follow him around. Just stop doing Dragon Ball commentary. We don't need Krillin telling us how everything's working. Or I guess a better description is Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon commentary. Because that's actually where, like, you get characters sitting on the sidelines literally explaining things to you. Whoa, what does it mean when a Pokemon uses extreme speed, Brock? Well, that's when a Pokemon takes their speed to the extreme. Actual line from a season of Pokemon.
Yeah, it's ultimately like it's pretty much the studios making them are like, look, main people that are watching this, the US and China. We're stereotyping here, but through our market research, it shows that United States citizens and Chinese citizens are stupid. So let's spell out everything to both of them.
Well, it might be that they, because they do these, like, focus tests, right?
Yeah.
And like, they get, as many people from as many demographics as they can, because they're trying to get literally everyone's money. So they get as many people from
specifically US and China, though. Everyone else, you're good, but you're less than 10%.
Yeah. But like, so they get these like focus groups where it's like, it probably included like some old people who were like, I don't understand. I don't understand. What does it mean when the big three-headed dragon does the big yell? I don't understand.
Who the hell's taking Grandpa to go see Godzilla King of the Monsters, though?
I don't understand. So what's with the big dragon? Who's the big dragon? Why does the big dragon have 3 heads? Are they his brothers?
I think that probably was an issue with their focus group / test screening, is they got too broad of an audience. Like they didn't look into who's actually going to see these movies, which is it's teenagers to like 40-year-olds is your biggest demographic. I'm not saying there aren't people outside of that age range. I'm saying that's the majority of your demographic.
Yeah. If the big dragon's head can grow back after it's cut off, why does he need 3? Why doesn't he just have the 1? It can grow back. Where am I? Hello? Could you
Am
take this
I
bag off my
Godzilla?
head now? Hello? Anybody? It's starting to smell like my own spit in here. In this bag. Because of my breath.
Shh! Shut up, lady.
Oh. Hello?
Don't watch a movie. Shut up. This was free.
What?
This was a free screening. Shut up, lady.
I don't understand. There's a big pterodactyl now. Why does the big pterodactyl start on fire? That doesn't seem safe.
Go watch
Where
Downton
are
Abbey.
Are they in one of those Spanish countries right now? Where the people speak Spanish?
Don't go to the movie theaters anymore. Just stay at home and watch Hallmark.
Why is the Chinese man blowing himself up? Grandma, shut up! I don't understand.
Where's the love interest? Where's the romance?
The moth is the love interest, Grandma. The moth.
The moth?
That's weird. How is a dinosaur and a moth supposed to make babies? I don't understand.
These foreign companies make the weirdest movies. Grandma, most of this was made in the United States.
What?
What?
I don't understand. Why don't the big monkey and the lizard shake hands and be friends? I think they would make delightful friends.
Why don't we focus on the human characters more?
At least they can talk.
I want to see what Bobby Billy Brown doing. I want to see what Bobby Billy Brown doing, and I want to see what lady from The Conjuring's doing. For some reason, I know what the heck The Conjuring is. I want to see what she's doing.
Oh, I've seen all of the Conjuring movies. I love them. Grandma, those movies are about demonic possession. Yes, but the demons lose in the end. And you know what that means? Jesus wins.
Ed and Lorraine were true heroes, not con artists at all.
No,
They
definitely
were
not.
true warriors for Christ.
Yes. The Bible. That's the book for me. She's singing this in the middle of the screening.
Yeah. Everyone's already starting to walk out, and that also leads to like the people recording everything. They're like, "Dang, like this must be like very complicated for everyone." Like everyone walked out. I guess we got to dumb it down more. We have to dumb it down more.
Include more scenes of the scientists explaining everything.
Yeah.
Why doesn't the little girl just talk? Why does she have to make all those wibbly wobbly hand signs? She's weird. I don't get her.
Grandma, surely y'all had a deaf person growing up. You've seen a deaf person before.
Yeah, but they didn't go around telling everybody about it like they do now. All these attention-grabbing social justice warriors. Ooh, I'm deaf. So what? I've got a bum hip.
You don't see me complaining about it. Grandma, you complain about it every single day.
What? I don't understand. Grandma at the test screening is my new favorite character.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I want to see more grandmas like that at like specifically like A24 weird movies. Like even there's A24 movies that are like not entirely saying they're too weird for me, but it's like it gets a little artsy fartsy in the weirdness for me. I want to see grandma go to that test screening. Like,
So what's with the bagel? Why is the bagel important?
I can't keep up. She keeps changing her outfit. How is she instantly changing her outfit? Why is she wearing all those sparkles on her face? What? She's a rock now with googly eyes?
I don't understand.
That's her?
I wish I could change my clothes that fast. That would be so convenient.
I could just hop into my nightgown. Go right to bed.
Is this because her daughter has the big gay? Is all of this because her daughter has the big gay? Grandma, shut up.
Is that what the bagel stands for? Oh. The bagel is the big gay.
I understand now. No, you don't, Grandma. I don't? You don't. Oh, I don't understand. How come Short Round can do Kung Fu? You know he's Short Round? Of course. I saw Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom when I was younger than I am. Back when it was in the theaters in 19-aught whenever.
Why is everyone against what the grandpa has to say? He has some good points.
Oh, goodness. Why can the shell talk? He's got an adorable voice, but why can he talk? Why is he a shell? Why not some other sort of weird part of a mollusk?
Wait, you're telling me that shell is a boy? Sounds like a woman to me, a little
like
girl.
A little girl. I don't understand.
But I do love that name, Marcel.
Marcel.
Oh, that was my best friend growing up in the years past. Oh, I do adore Marcel.
Marcel. Oh, Marcel, yes, he was my best friend, and I used to tell him, oh, Marcel, I love you like a friend, and he would just cry with joy. He would cling on to me so much. We were just such good friends, just friends. All right, this next one's not 8. You finish yours first.
Well, and one day, I don't know what quite happened to Marcel. I just hear one day he's been down. He's been a bit queer. And I'm talking about queer how we used to use it back in my time. And he just I just haven't heard from him again. Grandma, you can probably look him up.
What?
On what? You know, the internet. Like if you don't have a phone, you can use my phone. Okay, well, put in his name. Marcel. Editor will bleep last name in case there actually is a real person named this. Okay. Oh. An obituary. I guess that makes sense. He must have been quite old. I'm up there in age. Oh. The obituary is only a few years after I saw him as a child. Oh. Oh, what? We never obituary's been this detailed. He hung himself. My goodness.
Anyway. What's this one about? Why is she kissing him like that? Isn't that her son? These Vikings are weird.
Oh, that's so repulsive.
Period blood in that guy's face.
That's so repulsive. They're just burping and farting.
I mean, I used to do that to Marcel for fun, but
they're acting like animals, just burping and farting. This is disgusting.
So I don't get it. Did he actually fight the dead guy, or was that just like an abstraction of some sort? Was it a vision? I don't understand.
Ooh, my. He's quite hunky.
Look at those pecs.
That girl needs some more meat on her bones.
She's really skinny. She really is skinny. My goodness gracious. Get her a sandwich.
Get her to come over to Grandma's.
I'll
fix her something right up.
Yes. I'll make her a pot roast. Grandma's pot roast. And a turkey pot pie.
That Grandma's hungry.
Grandma's hungry. Oh, no. What's this movie called? The Menu? That'll only make me hungrier. Oh, it's that same girl. She still hasn't eaten from the last one?
And she changed her hair.
Why did she change her hair? She was so pretty blonde. Not that she isn't pretty with the darker hair.
Oh, that young man she's with is quite handsome.
Yes.
Why is she being so rude to him? He paid for her meal. He doesn't seem awful at all.
Yes, he doesn't seem as though he is exhibiting some rather toxic traits.
I'm literally looking at a reflection of your grandpa. This is how your grandpa won me over.
Oh my God.
It was a different time. We shut our mouths.
Wait, why did that guy just shoot himself in the head? How is that a part of the menu? I don't understand. Are they supposed to eat him now? Is that what this is? Do they eat the dead guy?
What are they doing in the woods now? The restaurant's the other way.
Don't they want their food? It's going to get cold. Why did she stab him there? That seems really uncomfortable. And he let it happen? My Alvin would never let me do that. God rest his soul.
Such a good man.
All that delicious food in front of her, and she wants a cheeseburger. Just spoiling every major beat of the movie. So retroactively, like spoilers for the menu, everybody.
Yeah.
Like I like if you've never seen it, you don't get what we're saying. But if you start watching it, you're gonna catch on to the gist real quick, and you'll put things together. So maybe go see the menu before listening to everything we just said.
Yeah.
Because it's a good movie.
But yeah, I'm okay with the fading out of the old crowd.
Yeah.
In terms of movies, like they have their movies, as well as I'm sure market research is done that shows this. That's why there's not so many movies out there specifically tailored toward them in theaters. Not a lot of them are going to the theaters because theaters can be gross.
Yeah.
And they're old.
Yeah.
They might die.
Yeah, I was going to say, getting up those stairs to your seat can be pretty hard for the elderly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, I've been to the theater with my grandmother. Like, a couple times last year, I went to the theater with my grandmother. And they have no places to rest your legs between the front door and the auditorium. Like, there is no consideration for people who run out of breath. So
there's no like railing or anything?
No, nothing. Like there's nothing in those hallways between the front door and the auditoriums. So I have to like basically just offer my arm and help to keep her up because her cane over long distances isn't enough by itself.
Dang, I never even thought about it. I just always assumed there was like a railing there, but that's so weird. No, obviously, I'm okay with anyone seeing a movie. It's just, I don't think older people go out to the movies as much anymore. It's like a special occasion.
Yeah, they have Hallmark and the Lifetime Movie Network.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, there's channels tailor-made to them. Like, I think literally
exists.
Yeah, like the channels that my grandma cycles through every time I go there. One channel I do like, but the others, it's the same exact thing. There's Hallmark. There's, what was the other channel you had mentioned?
Lifetime Movie Network.
Yep, Hallmark, Lifetime, and then the Game Show Network. My grandma cycles through those three channels. I'm down with the Game Show Network, actually. But the others, like, it's, here's the thing. Hallmark is good in terms of like it is positivity. We were talking about positivity earlier. It is positivity in your face. Like the closest bad stuff that happens in those movies is there's a slight, I mean, it's every movie. There's a slight disagreement between the two love interests that stumbled upon each other at the beginning. Slight disagreement that happens. The
hunky, rugged rural guy and
the boss lady from New York or whatever.
Yeah, the business blonde from big city USA who's not there by choice.
And he had to kind of show her like, hey, like life's not all about business.
Life's not all about business. I mean, look at how handsome I am. Life is about how handsome I am.
Disagreement happens eventually where it's like, but I have to get back, and your handsomeness just isn't enough. And the guy's like, well, fine. I'm going back to being handsome here then. And there's a disagreement. They fall away, and then she's at her job, and she's talking to stupid Dan. Ugly, fugly Dan, who's given her all this extra work assignments, and she's
stupid,
like,
ugly, smelly Dan. His stink just lingers after he goes away.
Oh my gosh, Dan. Like, you are disgusting. Like, if you were hot, I'd be down with you giving me all this work and stuff. I'd be down with it. But you're ugly and you're stinky and you're giving me all this work. You know what? I'm out of here. I'm going to Hot Hunky Guy.
Yeah.
And she goes to Hot Hunky Guy as Hot Hunky Guy is about to go somewhere else on a plane or he's visiting someone else, and she runs into him before the thing can happen, and she's like, I told Dan he could eat a turd because I know he does that in his free time. He's one of those people that would do that. And he's like, oh, that's great. Hey, he lifts up his shirt. These abs, fill them. She's like, oh, I made the right choice.
Yeah, she puts her hands on his abs, and you just hear water running.
Yeah.
You can see it because she's wearing her business skirt still, so you can just see it trickling on her leg.
Oh, and also, yes, they are all dressed like this as if it was like summertime, like he's lifting up his shirt, showing his abs. Yeah. She's wearing a skirt, like stuff where it's like summertime in New York, but it's Hallmark. This takes place
at Christmas,
at an extended winter.
Yeah,
winter only exists in this universe. In Hallmark universe, it is only winter. It's always snowing. There's nothing else.
And then
they don't mind the cold wearing this stuff.
No, definitely not. And also, optionally, Mr. Handsome might have a child from a previous marriage or something. Mr. Handsome could also be Mr. Single Dad.
And the child from the beginning never, not saying this is a bad thing, but never has any like push away, never kind of dislikes the woman. The child is an angel.
The child is an angel, and depending on how old they are, could be the mastermind putting the two together.
Yes.
The child could be like, once Business Blonde sees how hunky and hot my dad, Mr. Handsome, is, she'll have to stay here and be my new mom.
Exactly.
God, my dad is so hot. Look at him. She has to stay.
You're going to pass him up? You're going to pass him up.
The child lifts their dad's shirt up. Touch his abs. Touch his abs. Feel that. You think you're going to get away from that? No way, lady. Nobody gets away from that.
It's got its own sexual gravitational.
Mom couldn't get away from that. She starved to death touching his abs.
Those abs you see right there, they have their own sexual gravitational pull to them. You will be drawn back here. You will try to escape its pull. You will be drawn back.
My dad's abs are insured.
Oh, I mean, hands under her chin. You're so lovely, ma'am. Won't you be my new mommy?
Are you an angel? Will you be my new mommy? How often do Hallmark movies go the other way? Because I know they do sometimes, where it's businessman, Mr. Business comes from New York and meets rural blonde. And
not as much. It's not a 50-50 thing because it's mostly women watching Hallmark and it's a fantasy. So
but I feel like it's because it's still kind of from the female perspective when businessman goes, but it's less woman escaping her busy life to be with a simple guy, and more like, ooh, simple girl gets herself a successful guy.
But I think the businesswoman thing, in terms of those two situations, which all of this, what we're talking about, makes up at least 90% of Hallmark movies, if not all of them. But that specific thing where it's businesswoman and lax hot guy, that's probably 60 to 70%. And then maybe 30% is the other way, where it's business guy and lax hot woman.
Yeah. With optional child.
With optional child, yes.
And then the child is like, "Mister, you're so handsome."
Mister, were you carved by God himself?
Would you be my new daddy? Okay, that feels different. Look at my mom's chest. Lifts up her shirt. Whoa!
You're gonna ditch that? Those boobs have their own sexual gravitational pull to them.
Those boobs have their own postcode. She could feed an orphanage with those.
She has. She's a saint.
You
saw earlier in the movie her volunteering.
She donates her milk.
She volunteers and goes to each person's cup and squeezes a little in their cup. They're like,
Personally
God bless you,
squeezes it
man.
directly from the teat.
Yeah. And those homeless people are like, God bless you, man.
God bless you, rural blonde. I once saw her nurse a newborn calf. My mother's an angel. An angel with rocket tits.
I mean, hands under chin. Will you be my daddy, please?
The man puts his hand on the child's shoulder. Kid, you had me at rocket tits. Like, that's the version of the movie where there is no going back to New York and realizing he needs her. It's like as soon as he's like, no, like,
it's like, I'm sold.
I'm sold. Like, where do I sign up? Right here on this marriage license? Okay.
Because I already found out through earlier in the movie, if I'm homeless, I can still survive off of those tits. It's all good.
So here's what I want to see. Let's pitch something real fast here.
Okay.
So, what is the version of the one Hallmark Christmas movie? Because there is only one.
Yeah.
Where business blonde comes to small town from big city and falls in love with Mr. Handsome, but Mr. Handsome is gay.
Oh, are you saying like this is our pitch, or are you asking if this is a thing?
Well, let's pitch this. Let's see where this goes.
Okay. Because I was about to say Hallmark would never do that. But
what happens when she touches his abs, but then realizes that those abs are for the boys?
Oh, let's see. Because how I would want to do it, she doesn't find out. Like it's just escaping her. Everyone else sees it,
yeah,
or like recognizes. Yeah. It escapes her. She finds out at like the very end, basically.
Yeah, like he's not closeted. He's out and proud.
Yeah.
She's just too dense to recognize it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, he's a rugged rural farm boy, right? Like he's not the stereotypical like yacht queen sort of gay guy. He's like, he's just a dude who happens to be gay. And
yeah.
So
but she has the classic stereotypical Hallmark mentality / attitude where it's like, hot guy like that and he doesn't have the accent, he can't be gay.
Gay people don't exist in Hallmark movies, so it's like he has to be my love interest.
Yeah, it would ultimately be like, at least how I would want to see it, where she's just like not picking up any of the clues. In the
Wow,
very
Mr.
end,
Wow, Mr. Handsome, you and that young bartender seem to have like a really close friendship. That cute young bartender. Do you have his number? You do. Could I have it? No. What do you mean I'm not his type? I'm everyone's type. Wow, Mr. Handsome. You and the cute young bartender are so close. You even kiss each other on the lips like little friends.
yeah, basically the very end, whenever they have some disagreement, but it's a one-sided thing. Like he
Yeah.
doesn't see it as like a weird relationship disagreement, but she's basically like, fine, I'm going back to New York. And she goes, and then eventually she has the falling out with Dave, the smelly, stinky guy.
I thought it was Dan. I thought it was Smelly
Dan. Yeah, she can't even remember his name. He's that unimportant in her life.
Yeah.
It's all about her. But yeah, she has that. She's like, I'm leaving. Either she's leaving Dan if they were dating, or she's like, I quit. I quit my job. You stink. And then she goes, flies back, and like confronts our main guy.
Mr. Handsome.
And yeah, Mr. Handsome. And then she has a thing of like, I quit my job. Or she arrives and he's like Mrs. Handsome. what? Why?
Business blonde.
Yeah, Mrs. Blonde. Why are you here? Don't you have like the whole business pitch, the whole proposal you were talking about? Like it seems like it's going to be big for your company, big for you, and everything. And she's like, I it's not me. That's not who I am. Who I am is me with you. When I'm here with you, that is who I truly am. Mr. Handsome, I love you. You know I'm gay, right?
What?
I thought it was obvious. I thought we were just friends.
Oh my god, I quit my job. Oh my god, I quit my job. Right when I was about to give the big business pitch.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah,
Oh my god, that's a major bridge burned for me. Do you have a paper bag? Oh my god. Oh my god, my future just went down the drain for this. Why didn't you tell me you were gay?
I never had any like feelings for you because one, I'm gay, but also like I just figured like what how do I slip that into a conversation if I don't have feelings for you?
I don't know. Usually you people aren't that subtle about it.
Whoa. You people. What are you, from a Hallmark movie? Look, you can stay at the town inn. Like you were here before. The town inn has extra space. I don't want to stay at that rat hole. I just pretended that place was nice for you. Now that I know you're gay, I want to tell you how awful this stupid little town is. She has no character growth. She's just the awful person she was at the beginning.
That moment where I stepped in goat poop the second that I hopped off the bus colored my entire experience with this town. I've not let that goat poop leave my mind for a second. That sounds a little obsessive. Are you okay? We do have a psychiatrist here in town you can see if you need to. I don't need a psychiatrist. I need a man. She breaks down. God, now I see why they used to just lobotomize you back in the 50s. What? Like he's got his own hang-ups. She's homophobic and he's a misogynist. Yeah. But these two wacky roommates. that sounds like the setup to a sitcom. A gay misogynist and a female homophobe are stuck in an apartment together.
She's homophobic, and he's a misogynist. These two wacky roommates are going to have to figure out how to live with each other.
Tune in this Friday for the premiere episode of The Bigot and the Pig. We got to write that now. Brandon, I know what our pilot pitch is going to be.
Nice. Yeah, I've already... This wasn't Hallmark, but eventually it probably would warp into this. I think I may have talked to you about before. I've had this outlined idea that I'll eventually write. It's a Lifetime movie parody, basically. Mm-hmm. Like I'll say it on here. If someone takes the idea, it's fine. It's not fine. If you do take the idea, how dare you? But
pay us.
Please. or at least saying, hey, I got this idea from this guy.
Yeah. Pay him for it.
But it is basically like a Lifetime movie. How like usually in a Lifetime movie, people fall in love. Like, yes, there's usually like murder and stuff like that, but people do fall in love in Lifetime movies. This Lifetime movie would be, because you do have to have crime in any Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
It would be two people, male and female, get kidnapped. They don't know each other. They get kidnapped. They're in a basement, and it's horrible conditions. This is actually like this idea came before that basement short film that I wrote.
Yeah.
I just like took tiny bits and pieces for that. But yeah, awful conditions, awful living conditions. It's the first time they're meeting. They're captive. Their captor is like feeding them dog food sandwiches and stuff like that. Wet dog food, not the dry pebbles. It was so stupid. For those that don't know, that was a short film. It was made, and it was dog food pebbles for the sandwiches. I didn't write that. I thought they understood I meant wet dog food. Anyway.
Gonna have to be more
over time.
Next script.
Yeah, over time, they develop a connection, and basically by the end, they've fallen in love. They've had coitus because it's Lifetime. You can do that. You can't do that in Hallmark. Lifetime.
No. People don't have genitals in Hallmark movies.
That's true. People don't know what genitals are at all.
No.
They don't. Yeah, it's not in textbooks or anything. But yeah, so they have coitus. They have coitus. They seal the deal, and then eventually you have the big thing where like the captor comes down, and they set this trap over time to stop the captor and then kill the captor or whatever, and they're just like all happy and lovey-dovey, and they're just like kissing, and they got blood all over them and stuff, and they just walk out hand in hand out the door. And it has the end with heart a heart over the end and stuff. And it's Lifetime's Valentine Day movie.
Yeah.
They found love in the darkest of places.
Oh my God.
Two strangers forced to eat dog food sandwiches. Talking about wet dog food, not those little stupid pebbles. The captor, if he threw it down, it'd just go everywhere. And it's like, what's the point of putting that in bread? It just went everywhere. Anyway, back to this movie that I'm describing.
I would love to hear more like movie trailer announcers like get hung up on just one facet of it. Well, first they got to go back to using movie trailer announcers, but
Yeah.
because trailers don't have the voiceover guy anymore.
Yeah, it's only like not even action movies rarely do it anymore. It's almost like a comedy type thing.
Yeah. Well, comedy movie trailers don't even have that anymore, I noticed.
Well, what I mean by comedy is like if you have an action movie that's also like an action comedy, you do it as like ironically or like a parody kind of. Yeah, the trailer guys are now like the epic trailer guy, epic voice guy, or whatever his name is. He's just subjugated to doing the Screen Junkies honest trailers the rest of his life because they won't give him. They do give him trailer work, but he used to have so much more. Now he's just honest trailers guy.
Well, at least he gets work though.
Yeah.
It beeps. But yeah, with dog food sandwiches.
All right.
The captor feeds them dog food sandwiches with wet dog food. None of that kibble stuff. Because if he throws the sandwich on the ground, the kibble flies everywhere. And what's even the point?
What was the point of even putting it in the bread? You could have just separated it and put it to the side.
You could have just given them a bowl of dog food. Just put it on the floor, slide it over. But no. No, it's wet dog food. I promise.
It's wet dog food.
It keeps the bread together like peanut butter. Peanut butter. I'm getting hungry. Hang on, I'm gonna go make myself a peanut butter sandwich. And you hear like the sound of like the recording booth, like door open, like him taking his headphones off and walking out.
And minutes later, when he's done, he's like eating it, and he has like that peanut butter in your mouth type voice. Where it's like, really good. Oh. So back to the movie.
What was I talking about? Right. Oh, the dog food sandwiches. Oh, the dog food sandwiches. Don't even get me started. It's wet dog food, I promise. Oh, now I'm thirsty. Could really go for a root beer, actually. Hang on, I'll be right back.
And all of this is in the trailer.
Yeah, it's like a 25.
All they're doing is like because the trailer's only like a minute or two long, they're just like looping the trailer while he's saying all this. So it's like a minute or two of footage, but ultimately it's like a 15-minute trailer because of the audio.
All right, where was I? Right, okay. They're captive in a basement, dog food sandwiches, not going over that again. Oh, right, they bang. This is the part where they bang. And this movie's rated R, so you get to see her boobs.
I had a good title for it. It's written down somewhere. I'm trying to think of a good title or a joke title for that, though.
You're not going to be comfortable watching this movie with your parents. Mostly because of the boobs. Because your parents are okay with torture and violence, but they're not okay with boobs. And it makes you all uncomfortable. And you think to yourself, I should have watched this alone. At least I'd be able to stand up without worry. Now I gotta sit here and wait. Wait to stop thinking about it. And that's gonna be hard to do. Boobs. That's the end of the trailer.
It's like, what was the title? That was it, Boobs? Boobs the movie? All right, so we're doing good on time.
Yeah.
Hour 36. We can now get into the wrap-up portion, I'd say.
Yeah, the wrap up.
All right, so in wrapping up, I won't say like plugs and recommendations,
Okay.
but I'll say any updates on your life or you as a creator.
Nothing yet. There are generally speaking, there are a few ideas for creative things being tossed around between me and a few of my creative friends. But as of right now, nothing like solid yet. So nothing that can really be announced.
I gotcha. Yeah, for me, still like Dismay Comics will still be a thing, but my big thing I'm trying to do now is finish Gallows-Man 3 and 4, get those done so I can, once those are Kickstarters are done for those and stuff, do trades of them. And that's what I'm trying to do with Dismay Avenue. Dismay Avenue number 3 will likely be the last issue of the series for now. Could always come back to it. I own it, so I could always pop up a few years later and be like, hey, more Dismay Avenue. That doesn't mean I won't still do horror stuff, but I want to get issue 3 done so I can collect that. And yeah, my other horror stuff that I had written for Dismay Avenue, I can work it into another series, and I'll likely try to pitch it publisher eventually, because I like writing horror stuff. But yeah, big thing is trying to wrap up Gallows-Man, which will be a couple years. And Dismay Avenue 3 should come out by the end of the year. The big stuff that I'm like focused on right now is working on Curbsided. I've been working with Juan Romero. He's the artist of Tales from Town City, or most of the stories in there.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the artist for Curbsided.
Okay.
And
That's awesome.
I'm looking forward to it because.
So okay, just to give me a good image of, hey, you know what? Why am I asking? I'll be right back. I have the issue in my room.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I'd sent like the digital stuff before it came out to you. Yeah, like he does the art for Fierce Pets as well as Tinfoiled Hypnotism, and like I love his art. Like and Curbsided is specifically
Yeah,
a comedy.
I was gonna say, with the scripts you sent me, his art style should be perfect.
Yeah. As well as like, it's perfect because Tinfoiled Hypnotism showed me that it's perfect because I know he can do comedy with a bunch going on, like silly animals killing people type stuff.
Yeah.
Tinfoiled Hypnotism, it's mostly dialogue based, and that is a lot of curb-sided. There is stuff that happens, but a lot of it is dialogue based, similar to like a Clerks movie, because that's the biggest inspiration for the series. Yeah, like his art is so good, and haven't heard from him in a couple days, but the concept art is almost completely done. Kai and Cal have their designs, and I like it. I like their designs. And the food truck, I'm liking the food truck a lot. I might change the color of it, but it's perfect because, I mean, the food truck is like, it's basically a third character of itself.
Yeah.
It's in like nearly every story, if not every panel, you see Cal and Kai because they're so tied. I mean, they're tied to that food truck. And it has like a character of its own with its look. I like it a lot. But yeah, like he's almost done with the concept art. Then issue 1 will start. And I picked out 2 stories for that would be a good first issue. They're both, I mean, all the stories I've written for Curbsided, I like or really like. But I think they're the best introductory first issue stories. But yeah, I hope it gets picked up because there's other stories. Obviously, I want all the issues to come out, but I specifically want to get to issue 3, where it's just a one story. It's a 22-page story where one of the main side characters in that story is heavily based off of my high school Spanish teacher. And just like his weird, I love him, but he had some weird quirks to him, and he like fits well as like a character in this. Like it's not completely him, like, but there a lot of inspiration is drawn from him. I really want to get to that one, but yeah, Curbsided's coming along. I think it'll be pretty funny. It's funny to me. I think people that like any of the Clerk stuff will really like it, as well as other people. I'm not subjugating it just to Clerks, but that's a good target demographic. But yeah, Curbsided's happening. Still writing for A Day at the Fair. Like I wrote a 10-page story yesterday after like a week of almost laziness. I was just like a week of just it was like almost like procrastinating writing.
Yeah.
And I've felt this before where it's like once I get into writing that day or even the next day after I've written, I have the bug. Like I want to keep going. But if I stop for a few days, like that juice is like drained. Like I still really want to write, but like I don't have the thing of being able to keep going. Like so for that week or 2 weeks, whatever it was just like thinking about writing here and there, but something would come up or I'd be like, like not really in the mood. But once I finally like push myself yesterday or the day before, whenever, like the bug is back. I don't want it to go away right now because I want to get a bunch of this comic done within the next 2 months. So I really like A Day at the Fair, but it's one of those things where I have so many story and script ideas for it. I want to get them all done so I can then hop on to the next thing, kind of.
Yeah, and for me, I'm having a huge problem because I keep telling you and telling myself that I'm going to start work on my scripts for A Day at the Con because I know that like you've got all yours done. But and the thing is like I just had like a decently long like winter break that ended about 2 weeks ago now. And for that whole thing, I didn't write a word. But I had creative energy, but for some reason it was all dedicated towards like putting D&D stuff together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I was doing that instead of writing as an outlet, and like I kept telling myself like I need to write because I've got something going, but at the same time, like I don't know, like excuse me, it was so hard to motivate myself to just sit down and actually create something.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know why it's been so difficult. And now I'm back in my classes, and I've got a poetry class I'm doing right now. And oh God, is that going to be taking it out of me? Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. Because I have to write poetry. And if there's anybody out there listening, I like to think of myself as something of a Renaissance man. But if there is one art form I don't get, it's poetry.
And I always tried to get it when I was younger. There are some poems that I do like today, because like there's some poems, I think the reason I like them is like, oh, this sounds or this plays out like some of the stuff in the book of Psalms or the book of Proverbs that I like. So it's like, okay, that translates. But yeah, a lot of poetry I'm just not big into. There's few things I like, but quickly just mention it real quick. 22 Jump Street had a great scene with slam poetry. I thought it was hilarious. Jonah Hill is doing impromptu slam poetry, and it's just talking about poetry because he's trying to impress this girl.
Yeah.
But he got called up to the stage randomly, basically. He's just like, slam, poetry, speaking words with an emphasis, moving my hands so you're paying attention. Just rhyming and stuff. But he wasn't like bashing it, but he was like doing a slam poetry thing, just talking, narrating slam poetry basically. This is funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I like Tolkien's poems, but I know what those are about though. So like they're easier for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah, that's the thing is like for me to get into poetry, I almost have to, it's like some pieces at an art museum. Like I love art, but there's some pieces at an art museum that I don't get, but they have the little placard right next to it. I can read it. It basically gives context for it. I'm like, oh, I can kind of see that now. I get that.
See, that's the thing with so much poetry. Like there's so much poetry that even like with the big famous poets, if you're not like intimately familiar with details of their life story, their poems make no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's like, because like poetry is supposed to be like hyper personal, right? So it's like, but if you write all this hyper personal stuff, it's like, how do people get famous on something so personal to them? You know what I mean? I don't understand. Like, I guess because like, you know, there are obviously like relatable elements to it, but at the same time, it's like, if you got to do that much research on someone and get like really familiar with like them as a person to understand what they've written, it's like it makes you wonder like, how did that like take off? This isn't a criticism. I'm not trying to criticize it or make it sound like it's a bad thing. I don't understand how it works.
Yeah, I get that.
And it's just like, because like I'll read a poem, I'll give a poem a first pass, and it reads like complete nonsense, like total gibberish sometimes. Yeah, and it's like I don't understand anything, and like I'll see discussions on it where like, you know, it's a whole bunch of stuff is being read into, and I'm like, how did you pick up on that? Where did you get that? It's like because you have to research the poet.
Yeah.
For me, I like roses are red, violets aren't. That's my poem.
I don't know if you can hear it. I'm doing light snaps.
Oh, yeah, I hear it. Yeah, I'm going to go to a poetry night and bust that one out. Roses are red, violets aren't. And then I just wait to see if they understand that the poem has ended. Because sometimes the space between the words is a part of the poem, apparently.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, in a year from now, everyone, you can pick up Teo's New York Times best-selling poetry book, because this class will change him and he will become a poet. And that's all he'll write. He'll say, "Phooey to comics, phooey to writing animated shows. I'm a poet and I know it."
Sure. Yeah. My poetry book titled "Does This Look Infected to You?"
Alrighty. Well, this actually is perfect timing. I just got a text. I gotta go pick someone up in a second. So thank you everyone for listening. Fast. Do what?
Yeah, second. That's real fast.
Yes.
You already failed.
Basically the flash. I already did it.
Pointed.
I did it. They're back. I got them real quick.
Whoa.
This is the flash, basically.
It's because your legs are so long.
Yeah. They're stretched. But thank you everyone for listening. You can keep going with episodes. I think I'll do like this past episode 1. I split into 3 parts just because it was a little bit longer, and it flowed better as 3 parts. But this episode, if you're seeing it, it's 1 part, and it was likely put out on Friday, and I will likely continue putting them out on Fridays. If something comes up, one of us had an awful night with diarrhea, and so that's why we weren't able to record.
Always diarrhea.
Yes. But till next time, I'm Teo.
And I'm Brandon.
And now we're not